Any citizen who took civics in high school knows the difference between a republic and a democracy. The problem is our public school no longer teaches civics to let the next generation know this fact. Civics was replaced with social studies, using American history to put our country on trial, to find fault and criticize our nation's superior success in exercising true freedom. The Department of Education opened a Pandora's box to fill the civics vacuum with unscientific and unsubstantiated theories on racism and gender studies. These classes are composed by gurus of grievance, while they systematically radicalize students by having them identify as members of various victim groups. This is a classic battle ploy of divide and conquer. Students are taught to redirect their purpose in life into vengeance and seeking retribution while convicting every national hero of malfeasance and dishonor, leaving them no one to emulate or aspire to so they can contribute to society as mature, responsible citizens. Civilization elevated the world from disease and illiteracy to satellites, education of all socioeconomic groups, and microsurgery, in contrast to the mongrels and mobs snuffing out these accomplishments in deference to their politically correct policies. They are being taught an incompatible message of humanity by being the most evil inhabitant on the planet, as well as each person being the center of their universe, free to invent their own moral code. The new definition of wrong applies to those holding old-fashioned traditions of family, faith, and community. This legitimizes systematic racism and social injustice. It encourages witch hunts and the extortion from honest citizens, their labor, and their income. This is the only way to finance and enrich this new class of entitled elites who appoint themselves as overseers of a world plantation. Most of this money spent by the government is for correcting these problems caused by their incompetence. They exploit the false narrative of our country being a democracy. This country has never been a democracy and hopefully will never be managed by mob rule. These mob rule rioters want to destroy our livelihood for disagreeing with their core values of truth, fairness, sustainability, and integrity. This has become a war, trying to force us to rewrite, cancel, ignore, or redefine what the founders had in mind when they created our constitutional republic. The founders warned, if you give a society a democracy, the mob will vote the treasury empty in 2 generations. Since this country has survived many wars, foreign conflicts, pandemics, and riots, all of which tore at the fabric of this nation. Thanks be to God, the majority of sound, level-headed politicians stood up and defended our country as a constitutional republic and delivered us to this day. That fabric is now wearing very thin, with the social justice mobs and the woke culture continuing to propagate their dishonest agenda by falsely identifying it as Christ-like, compassionate, and committed to relieving poverty and indigence. Every person, from a legal citizen to the illegal immigrant, exists only in their minds to be exploited for their vote, identity, wealth, and to leverage their perversion under the mob rule they call democracy. Our politicians must exercise true profiles and courage to make the decisions to pass through the filter of our core values. America does have core values, but they have been repressed and locked away by political correctness, globalists, and the deep state who abhor national pride and the fear of national and united citizenry. Their quest is a nihilist, godless focus on destroying all freedom, hope, and ultimately any form of a sustainable humanity. Our purpose in life is to expose and stop this corruption of our core values by defending our republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all, by spreading and teaching these timeless core values at every opportunity. This is Keith Kuby wishing you the best in making the world a better place.